Now, what in the carnival is going on here? So for today's video, I regret to inform all of you that I have an exciting video of some poor devils, some passengers that were late to getting back on a carnival ship. So much so that they, in fact, unfortunately, end up being left by the cruise ship. Now, I'm going to get right to it and show you guys the video because some of you out there, I've heard your plights, your complaints saying I take just a little too long to start my videos. And of course, we will get to the little giblets after. But just to let all of you know that tomorrow I will be sailing on a brand new cruise ship with a brand new cruise line that I've never sailed before, going to an itinerary that I've never sailed before. The videos of which starting on Monday will be on my second channel, Jay the Nomad, so make sure you subscribe.
No, they can't. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh. No, they ain't running up.
Oh, we're moving.
How are they going to get on?
They're not.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Because you can see how we cry. Oh my God. It's Lord have mercy.
Don't jump in.
Oh no. Oh my goodness.
It's 5:15.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. All this stuff, they're cold.
They got to fly to Miami.
Oh my, they got to fly.
We got to get passports. They don't have those.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God. Their passport and everything. Oh my God.
Probably send a boat out.
I doubt it.
Goodness.
I doubt they'll send the boat out.
No. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That's why I said I wouldn't go on my own. I'd do a guide and whatever, you know, we got from them, from here. I feel so bad for them. Oh my goodness. I know it. Wow.
They look like big girls.
With the radio, you know, they can't keep coming back on. Right, but they still check you out. Because we went out early. So they have a camera, and they know oh gosh, that's got to be a sick feel. There goes the boat. Get on one of these boats.
They're going to get on the harbor back.
Yeah? Oh, they got lucky.
They're teaching them a lesson right now.
Teaching everybody on the boat lesson. Not either. Going on.
No.
They are, I mean,
Wow.
I should hope they got on the boat.
No place to stay.
They don't have no
They got no money. They got no passport.
Cash.
So before we get into the little giblets and details of this situation, like what exactly has taken place and what will happen after, I'm sure some of you out there that have never seen my commentary, I'll go over all of it for you in a nice, pretty fashion. A huge, major ship-size shout-out to the passenger that was on board that was nice and gracious enough to record this interesting event the right way, that of course for YouTube being horizontal. Now, I tried to look at the comments and gather as much data and details as much as I could. However, I couldn't get the ship's name. I did hear, and maybe you guys all heard in the video there, they said the ship was sailing out of Miami. There's only a couple ships out of there from Carnival. The Horizon is sailing out of there, and I believe it's like the Sunrise, Sunshine. The ship appears to be a little seasoned, so it is not the Celebration. Nevertheless, it's not too important. As far as the port, I do believe that is Montego Bay. I couldn't confirm in the comments. Let me know if you guys think it's another port. Let me know in the comment section below. Now, typically when these, well, things happen, people getting left by the cruise ship, it is usually either like a Cozumel or like a Nassau, and it does happen in, let's say, Roatan or Montego Bay every now and then. If you heard in the video, you heard somebody say, why are they running? This is something that does appear to be typical. I can understand if the ship is still there and they just know that they are simply not on time for the ship, and well, that's understandable. But when the ship has left and you see people running frantically over to the port to try to get the ship to, I don't know, hopefully turn around, I guess. Yeah, it's weird. I would 100% agree on that. Now, one thing I heard also in the video was somebody saying that the ship all aboard time was 4:30 and it was now allegedly 5:15, which leads me to one thing as far as the cause. It could be potentially that those passengers mix the times, because if you've gone on a cruise ship, in some ports, depending on where you're sailing from, there is typically the ship's time, the one you are supposed to abide to and understand, and then there is the land time or the local time. Every time you go to a port of call, whether it be Cozumel or even, let's say, Roatan or wherever it is you might be calling in or sailing to as far as the island, you will typically get 2 times if there is a difference in the time zone. You got to follow the ship's time. I always tell people, if anything, take a picture of it or just make sure your phone is either localized so you don't have to worry about it switching up on you, confusing you a little bit later. Just do something. You got to remember this. We're all adults here, and it's your responsibility to make sure you are back on the ship on time. Typically, when an unfortunate event such as this does happen, people are usually divided 50-50, and understandably so. Some people see it as a means of entertainment for all of the folks on board and whoever watches the video to enjoy, while others think this is sad, it's disappointing, and it should not be mocked or made a joke about. I understand both sides of it, and I will say that if somebody is late to the ship and you see them frantically running back and they make it on board, yeah, it's kind of funny. If you see somebody that, well, let's be honest, was probably a little irresponsible and they ended up getting left of their own terms and their own doing, it is slightly still funny. It is sad. I'll be honest with you. It's very sad to see, and you got to wonder what they have. There are some people that are shouting, I guess they can confirm it either, that those people may or may not have their passports and credit cards and all the little giblets that come that they will indeed need in order to hopefully get back home in a timely manner or get to the next port of call. Now, when something does happen, which is why I say this, whenever you get left, and hopefully that's none of you out there, what will typically happen is that at these ports, there will be some authority figures or agents that will aid in you getting back to wherever it is you got to go back to. However, this is only if, and only if you have the proper documentation. I always tell all of you, because I hear a lot of people complain, and I do sail on a lot of ships, simply say that, well, the passport's too big to lug around, and I don't want to risk losing it. Like I said, we're all responsible adults. There are plenty of things and places that you can put your passports that you don't lose it. You're going on an excursion, talk to your tour operator to see if they can put it somewhere for you, if anything. You got a bag, put it in a small pocket inside of your bag and make sure it is zipped up, and well, just check on your stuff every now and then. You're going someplace where you're going to go swimming, find a secure place to lock all your stuff up. A lot of these cruise ports do have lockers, especially if you're doing something touristy like. They can make sure that all of your stuff is secure as possible. That way you don't have to worry about it. On the flip side of that, you don't bring that stuff. You don't have your credit card. You don't have your passport. Maybe you can get by with a copy of it, but if you don't, now you have to go deal with, let's say if you're an American, the U.S. Embassy, and you will indeed have to pay for your flights home and any other fees occurred, because now I'm assuming, let's say the ship's sailing out of Miami, all their stuff is there. They're either going to send for it or they're going to have to go to Miami, pick it up, and then go home if they're not meeting the ship in the next port of call, you know, the next island, next destination they're going to. Being honest with all of you, this is not the first time this has happened, obviously, and especially during this time of year, I promise you it will not be the last. You got a lot of people that don't typically travel. You got a lot of people that are going on a ship for the first time. They think they are the kings and queens of the cruise ship, and the ship won't leave them. It will stay around for a little bit. Somebody actually had the audacity to make a comment stating that the captain should have waited for some reason. Like I said, I don't think there is any excuse. You give the benefit of the doubt to some degree. Maybe something happened, but I will say if it's an emergency, chances are the ambulance or the hospital will probably contact the cruise line. They can make arrangements. Or if it's something where somebody's dealing with a potential crime, maybe they've been robbed, the police department will also contact, or something with the port. The port authorities will also still contact the ship and they can make the proper adjustments. I don't understand how people sit here and say, oh, well, you don't know the reason. If there was a true reason that was actually validated, the cruise ship either would have waited or there would have already been pre-arrangements made, as opposed to somebody running after the cruise ship that has already departed like a maniac. If you happen to be one of those unfortunate poor devils that had a tragic event take place in port, maybe you got injured, maybe you skinned your knee, I don't know, maybe you tripped and fell and bumped your head, it doesn't matter. You need to contact the proper authorities, that way they can relay it over to the cruise line, that way arrangements can be made. Otherwise, in my personal opinion, I don't care what you say, there is no excuse. Everybody here decides to act like children and they say, oh, well, the ship shouldn't have left me, they should have waited a little bit longer. You might get a little bit of delay, a little bit, over in places like Cozumel because there's that long walkway and they know that that place is notorious for people either being late or whatever the case may be. Regardless of the situation, I don't believe there is an excuse. If you guys think so, of course, let me know in the comment section below. I'm not trying to make a mockery of it. I don't think it's funny. It's a little entertaining, I'll be honest with you, and it does provide some content for me to make for all of you fine folk. And, well, either way, that's what I got for you. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. If you can confirm the ship or anything like that, or if any of you are on board, let me know in the comment section below. As usual, hit that like button on your way out, subscribe to my other channel, Jay the Nomad, and know that I love each and every one of you. I'll see you later. Take it easy.